This Friday marks the beginning of the next stage of the Trump assault on the environment, and this time they're coming for your national parks, or at the very least, what's in the ground in your national parks. They want to get some of it out because it turns out it's worth a lot of money. At 6 a.m. on Friday of this week, the Trump administration will allow citizens and companies to start staking claims on sections of the Bears Ears and Grand Staircase-Escalante national monuments in Utah, so the new stakeholders can conduct hard rock mining on the formerly protected lands. It's not a musical thing, unfortunately. I looked into it. It's actually about extracting resources out of what used to be protected, in many cases, either sacred or beautiful ground. They're gonna start ripping it to shreds to take out the stuff that's inside of it. Now, how are they doing this? Well, they're doing this because that formerly protected territory is no longer protected. As we reported last year, Bears Ears National Monument was cut by the Trump administration by more than 85%, and Grand Staircase-Escalante National Monument was reduced by half. This resulted in the largest elimination of protected areas in US history. And at the time, we promised you that they were doing this so that they could then sell it off to massive corporations, and that is in fact what will be happening in less than 48 hours at this point. This move to deprotect and then exploit the land puts tens of thousands of Native American sacred sites at risk, along with key wildlife habitat and areas used for outdoor recreation. Sorry, areas that used to be used for outdoor recreation, now they will be used by corporations to get some minerals and stuff. Now, what's interesting and sort of old-timey about the way that they're doing this right now is the law that they're using. The Bureau of Land Management has determined that the process to do that claim staking will be governed by the General Mining Law of 1872. Because if we're gonna treat the environment like we're back in the 19th century, why not use a 19th century law, which covers mining for metals such as copper, gold, silver, and uranium. And it's not just old-timey in terms of the year, it's old-timey in terms of what you need to do. A prospector literally has to hammer 4 poles into the ground corresponding to the 4 points of a parcel of land. A prospector then has to chew tobacco and spit it out. No, and then he has 30 days to record the claim at the local BLM office. So they literally have to go out there and stake into the ground around the place. Like this is not some like gap-toothed guy in a big hat. This is a huge corporation, but they still have to go through this process because they think that's the legal protection that they need.
All right. And let's pause there for a second, okay, because I want you to understand the insanity that could ensue, even outside the control room, tomorrow morning. So it's Friday, 6 a.m. Local time that this will happen. Anyone can do it. Okay, so now these corporations are the ones who pushed for it. We know who pushed for it. We know what they're going to do. And I'm going to tell you the degree of the robbery and how little they're going to give the American taxpayer in return because of the law of 1872. But right now you can do it too. You could actually go out there and you put the 4 poles in the ground up to 20 acres and you put your written note about how you're staking claim to that land on one of the poles. This is literal, okay? You stick it on the pole, okay, and then you got 30 days, so it's okay, take a load off. You got 30 days to file afterwards. But what if everybody rushes out at the same time? Because it's not like the old days where there was 7 dudes out here, right? And they're like, oh, Billy Bob got that before I did, huh? Okay, well I had 28 days to stake this land, right? No, we could all rush out there now and stick poles all over the place and be like, okay, I now have the uranium here, which is really, really valuable.
Yeah.
This is nuts. So then, okay, but did they tell you about it? They were like, did Trump in his State of the Union go, oh, by the way, there's a gold rush coming, literally, okay, gold, uranium, etc. I opened up all these national monuments Friday, 6 a.m. local time, go get them, right? No, he only told the corporations who are the ones who wanted it in the first place and asked them to take away these national parks for their benefit. So you know how much they're gonna have to pay us in return? Get a load of this. Well, there's a whopping $212 filing fee. Okay. And then there's an annual maintenance fee of $150. Now they don't get to keep the land forever, but they have the rights to the minerals in what used to be public land, our land. Funny enough, the main thing they want is uranium. Oh look, there is a uranium controversy after all, but it's the Trump administration. So they're gonna steal our uranium right from underneath our nose and give us in return $150. Unprecedented level of corruption.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you can make an argument. I can understand how Republicans might say, hey, you know what? Look, you're going to destroy the Native American heritage and you're going to screw up the environment, and all you conservationists and the people who want to do the hikes and the hunting and all this stuff, whether you're conservative or liberal, okay, we can't do that because this is really important to the country. We need that uranium, or we're going to make a lot of money. But don't worry, the people of Utah and the other states that are affected and the whole country, we're all going to profit in that. We're all going to share in that. No, you get nothing. You get $150 a year. They get all the mineral rights by going out there and putting 4 poles in. And they're the ones who convinced Trump to do it in the first place.
Yeah.
That is classic corruption.
Yeah, it's corruption, and it's despicable, cutting it by 85%. And look, if nobody stakes a claim, and nobody puts their stake in, and nobody takes the minerals out, then theoretically, we have another election. We can re-protect these territories. Maybe, it'll take a lot of work, but it could happen. I mean, after all, under Clinton and under Obama, they made a lot of these protected territories, both on the land and at sea. So we could do that, but the problem with mining is that once you mine the land, you can't unmine the land. And I know some people want to sort of just bide our time, and then if Bernie gets elected in 2020, then everything's good again, but not everything's good again. If you destroy a sacred heritage site, you don't get it back. You can't unmine it at that point. And that's why these sorts of moves are not just corrupt and they're not just disheartening, they're permanent, okay? We have to live with them, our kids have to live with them. The land is irreparably harmed at that point, and huge portions of the land at that. Bear in mind also, it's not getting talked about a lot for some reason, but in the tax bill, they also authorized drilling, again, the rape of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. And so that area too, once it's got pipelines all through and it's been dug to, I'm not gonna swear I want to, you can't undo that, okay? You can't undespoil the land. And so that's why this stuff is so incredibly disheartening.
So which company wanted this in the first place? Energy Fuels Resources wrote a letter back in May to the Trump administration saying, I want the uranium, Lebowski. They're gonna go put out all their stakes tomorrow morning. But you guys are Americans too. So if you live near Bear Ears or Grand Staircase-Escalante National Monument, and you know the parts that they privatized, well, go and put your stakes in the ground. I'm serious. Like if I had known earlier, I'd have sent a crew out there and TYT would have grabbed some uranium mines.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're not gonna do what these companies do, but if we have mayhem and we have insanity, okay, then I'd rather have you guys have it than these companies, and then maybe we could give it back to the public, right?
Yeah.
So rush out there tomorrow morning, and maybe they think, oh, nobody will find out. We wrote, Trump's doing us a favor. We'll just go out there and put our stakes in the ground and just rob the American people that used to be their land yesterday. It's our land now, right? Unless you go out there and put the stakes in the ground. I know it's crazy, right? But you have just as much right. This 1872 law was when there was like 13 people in the country. Okay, they're like, oh, it doesn't matter. There's only 3 guys out there, right? Now, though, there's a whole bunch of people that live in Utah and in these other areas. You can go stake that claim. You know what? If you go out there and claim some land, take pictures, send it in to us. We'll talk about it on the show.
I totally will.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
TYTnetwork.com. You'll find on the website how to email us. Email us, show us your stakes on the ground, the note you put on there. And don't worry, you got 30 days to file a claim afterwards.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Okay, 20 acres at a time. Go have at it, Hoss.
If you want to get the whole Young Turks show every single day, become a member, tytnetwork.com/join. And once you do, you'll be saying,
I'm like a smart person.
Or you might say,
I think it's weird.
Or you might say,
oops.
No, that won't be that one. It won't be that one. It'll be great, trust me. tytnetwork.com/join.